Convention Center is next. Also home to the ferry boat landing, as well to Coronado Ferry Landing, and to the Hilton Bayfront Hotel. Now, since no one needs to hop off here, of course, any longer, or at least not for right now, that is, I now get to tell you all about the real deal side of the Gaslamp Quarter. So now I don't have to upsell it as this family-friendly area, which it truly is. But the history is rather deeper than just a couple of Wild West legends. You see, from 1880 to 1912, this particular section of Newtown was known as the Stingaree District. The Stingaree was one of the top 3 most dangerous red light districts in the Wild West, according to record. It was easier to get shot and stabbed here than it was to go and get stung by the actual animal of a stingray in the waters of Southern California. That's how it got its name, Stingaree, or Stingray District, the Stingray District. Now, the original inhabitants of this area were 3 parts, either the ladies of the night making their money, or you got the young, lonely sailors while on shore leave, and the Wild West cowboys all mixed together. It's a wonderful array for a wonderful party. Now, when it comes to the Stingaree itself, we had 100 gentlemen's clubs, 62 gambling halls, 71 saloons, and 13 opium dens total. So it was definitely a party for sure. Now, in 1912, the President of the United States forced San Diego to clean up their town, and that's what we had to do and turned it into the Gaslamp Quarter. Reason why? We were holding a World Fair and Exposition in Balboa Park in the next few years, 1915 to be exact. On your right-hand side, we got the Convention Center, home to many, many events throughout the years. The Vegas event, of course, is Comic-Con every July. This July, we had 400,000 people come to San Diego for 3 days in order to go to the convention. On your left-hand side, we got Petco Park, home of the San Diego Padres Major League Baseball team. That's also home to concert venues when they're not using it during the off-peak season as well. So again, that's Petco Park on the left, Big Tan building, home of the San Diego Padres. So again, the Petco Park is on your left. Behind us is the Convention Center. To our right is Hilton Bayfront. And this is the last chance for the Gaslamp Quarter. Once again, Petco Park is here. For anyone hopping off, going once.
So you're just on it. So
Dan, is there much variation between the scripts that they're saying, or is it? Have you heard all the same things?
It
before?
varies a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know that.
Yeah, it seems like it's really good each time, but each one is a little bit different.
Yeah, it's amazing how much knowledge he has. It's
Can
not
you
a
imagine
recording.
that?
It's just
Yeah, can you imagine that? Got 2 hours straight.
Yeah, they're just remembering every little detail and all the numbers of how many, they just rattled off how many saloons and opium dens and whatever they all do.
Yeah.
Bonnie, if you look to your left, you'll see the library.
Alrighty,
That's
so our next stop
Yeah,
from here
yeah,
will be
yeah, the dome, that
Coronado.
dome over there.
Coronado
I went
again
there for
will
Marcy's
be our next
wedding.
stop from
Yeah.
here.
When we were here for
Coronado
that.
Island.
It's full of,
You go upstairs?
you were getting your hair done.
Did you go upstairs?
Yeah.
Up to the observation deck on the front?
Alright,
Oh, it's
so
an
just a couple of safety and comfort rules here, of course. Make sure to silence all cell phones. So make sure, again, to silence all cell phones. Put them on mute or vibrate. If you have any phone calls, make sure that you do not answer any phone calls on board the tours, or I will drop you off at the next location. I never had to do it in 40 years, so don't be my first time. Also, make sure to keep all arms, legs, toes, and toes, and personal belongings inside the vehicle at all times. Okay, keep everything inside the trunk. Also, remain seated at all times. Super door is closed. So when the door is closed, again, make sure to remain seated until standing or seated. to take the ferry boats, which, yeah, it's fun until you have to get on a schedule, and now you have to make sure you're traveling over, about an hour early just to make sure that you can get onto a ferry boat, which could be completely filled. And then it took 20 minutes for the boat to go across, come back 20 minutes again, and then you'd have to get onto the boat, and it could take another 20 minutes. So literally, if you miss the boat, it can take up to a half hour to an hour just to get to your destination, which was just right across the bay. Now, if you had a car, you could drive across the Silver Strand. The Silver Strand is a thin little strip of land that connects the two cities, Coronado and San Diego. Now, this ruins the illusion that Coronado is an island. It never has been an island, never will be an island. It is, in fact, a peninsula. And so the reason why they call it an island is simply because the environment kind of feels like an island resort. But it's not. Never has been, never will be. They're just delusional. Now, when it comes to the Coronado Bridge itself, we're going to be 250 feet above the San Diego Harbor. We're going to go at 50 miles an hour, so we do have to keep up the speed. Again, 50 miles an hour, 250 feet above the San Diego Harbor. It's going to be very high up and very, very, very windy, so just keep that in mind. I've pretty much given you a warning, and so it's gonna be a little nippy in the back, especially. Just make sure again to remain seated at all times when going onto the tours here. So again, no seat switching, no standing. Make sure, of course, to get those cameras ready, though, if you want to take some pictures. Now, the view on your right-hand side will be the city of San Diego skyline. The view on your left will be the 32nd Street Navy base. Now, we will be seeing the same view coming back across the bridge, but in the opposite direction. So if you're in the opposite seat of where you want to see a view, please, again, no standing or seat switching. You can just take the trolley back across the bridge to go and see that. However, we are officially heading our way onto Coronado Island, which means we are leaving the city of San Diego. Since we're leaving the city, that means we're just like the Chargers football team. We are officially out of here. And if you are afraid of heights, 250 feet, just do what I do and close your eyes. Trust me, it really does work. Now, we're also going to, when we get onto the other side of the bridge, I'll tell you the story of the very first person to go across the bridge. Most people will tell you it was the governor, Ronald Reagan. That is a bold-faced lie. I'll tell you the real story in just a few moments. cost $48 million to build the bridge, an extra $2 million just to pay off the toll plaza as well, and so $50 million total. But Coronado kind of plays by their own rules. They kept it going, kept it collecting, and kept raising the toll prices, and then they collected a total of $199 million in tolls from '69 to early 2000. San Diego caught on. They told them that it's officially over. You're no longer allowed to collect any more tolls, or we will dismantle this toll plaza. And they said, okay, fine, we'll keep it here for historical purposes. We'll stop collecting tolls. Wherever the extra money went to, we have no idea. But that's just how Coronado flies. This is the richy rich place across the bay. They kind of go by their own rules out here. However, if you're interested in living here in Coronado, you're going to be paying more than just the tolls to get on over. The cheapest home currently up for sale is $1.2 million. That's the cheapest that you'll ever find currently in, again, the city of Coronado. Now, what do you get for $1.2 million? I'll see if I can find a home here that is about the size of that. Yep, on your left-hand side, this white home with a red flag, that is one of the homes that is $1.2 million. I wish I was kidding, because the 1.2s are actually 810 to 850 square feet, one bed, one bath, no garage, on-street parking. Now, if you want more of a home on the beach, you can get to about $25 to $30 million for those homes right on the beach, right next to the Hotel Del Coronado as well. Now, on your left-hand side are apartments, so maybe homes are out of your question, out of your budget. Well, you can go to the apartments. Your studio apartment in Coronado is going to be about $1,500 a month in rent, and that's 450 square feet. Studio, if you want an actual bedroom, that's going to cost you nearly $1,800 to $2,000 a month here in Coronado. So again, it's a very, very expensive area to try to live in. Now, when it comes to the first person that went across the Coronado Bridge, as I mentioned before in San Diego, a lot of people will say it was the governor of California, Ronald, and his wife Nancy. That wasn't the case. You see, the first person to go across was actually someone who wasn't supposed to go across in the first place, at least not yet. It was 3 days prior to the grand opening of the Coronado Bridge, so it was just 3 days away, just 3 days. This person probably could have waited, but technically they couldn't. Reason why? It was a pregnant woman needing to give birth, and they needed to get her to a hospital. The only hospital that was willing to take care of her was in San Diego's downtown. So there's only 2 ways to get there, according to the ambulance. They either can take her onto the ferry boats and hope to God that everything will go smoothly, or they can go ahead and drive her across the Silver Strand Peninsula. Well, either way is going to take too long, and it's very unsafe, so they're going to go ahead and just tear down the ribbons. Now, the bridge was built. It was ready to go. It just had ribbons all over the place for the ceremony. So they tore down the ribbons, drove the woman across the bridge, and she gave birth in the ambulance on the bridge as they were driving to San Diego. Now, that's a legal problem because no one knows which side of the bridge the baby was officially born on, and that is a problem because that's the borderline of the 2 cities. It's literally the bridge itself, and especially at the top of the bridge, there's a sign that says county limits. So is the baby born in Coronado or is it born in San Diego? They had no idea what to put on the birth certificate. So the story goes, the mother decided to flip a coin in the hospital, and heads would be Coronado, tails would be San Diego. It hit the floor, it was heads, baby was born in Coronado, California. 3 days later, here comes Ronald Reagan and his wife Nancy. Now, the grand opening ceremony for the Coronado Bridge is officially underway, and there were 3 cars going across the bridge in the ceremony. The first car was holding Miss Coronado beauty pageant winner Teen, Miss Cute Coronado, and her father. The second car was Ronald, Nancy, and of course, one security guy in the back seat. There's a story to that I'll get to in a moment. And the very last car was the mayor of Coronado and the mayor of San Diego. Now, the cars that they chose for the ceremony, by the way, were Model T cars. 1920s Model Ts, pretty darn cool. I'm going to hop out